It was just about a year ago that we were preparing for the shutdown of Highway 4064. You remember the anticipation? The news reports encouraged us to prepare for the worst. How would we handle this blocked artery? Would it be gridlock, or would we find a new way? I know that when I've ever had to be in the city at various parts, I've had some extra anxiety about how do I get from here to there? How much time will it take? Some of my friends who live right on Highway 40 where it was blocked said they never really got used to it, but they had to learn to accept it instead of just being mad all the time. But there was, I suggest, a hidden learning for all of us in all of that aggravation. The big surprise seemed to be that despite all the lane closures, roadblocks, and detours, we still found a way to get there. We took alternate routes. We carpooled. We used public transportation like Metrolink. But we found ways through the closures to get home. We found new ways to get where we wanted to be. And my brothers and sisters, I suggest that so it is with our lives. There will always be sudden obstacles, roadblocks, detours. They are annoying, they delay us, and they seem to threaten to keep us from getting to where we want to go. But the promise of this season in general, and today's scriptures in particular, is there's always another way to get home. There's always another way than we might have thought to get to where we needed to be. Maybe it's not the way we wanted to go. It might be a more difficult way, but there's always a way. And sometimes it's even a better way than we used to travel. As St. Paul said in today's scriptures, the one who calls you is faithful, and he will help you find the way. Certainly, we all know this. The roadblocks, the detours come. I didn't get accepted into the school of my choice. And of course that's discouraging. But then we remember, but that was never the only way to success anyway, was it, huh? Or maybe, I don't like how I look. I wish I was as pretty as her, or as athletic or as handsome as him. But that's never really what leads to love anyway, while those gifts might open an extra door or two for conversation. That's not love. Huh? So maybe I don't look like that, but maybe I could study to become more interesting. I could nurture the art of conversation. I could learn how to be interested in other people's lives and find the love that was there for me all along. Huh? It's the truth of our inner journey as well. Maybe those growing up core wounds have got us all spinning in circles, those patterns of addiction, or the way we think, or where we get blocked and we don't know how to find a different way. But there is always another way, huh? Read Dr. Tom's article in this week's bulletin when he describes some of that in his own growing up. Get some coaching. There are new ways to think and to come to peace and to freedom. Or in these difficult economic times, we get the news of a foreclosure or a job loss, and it's scary. But there's another way. That's the promise. There's another way. Sometimes it's small things. I always wished I had a pretty singing voice. Well, I don't, but I learned how to play guitar. I wish I could genuflect, but my knees are too beat up. But I can bow and genuflect on the inside. Or sometimes I wish I could donate I had more money to donate to charity, like this beautiful building and all of our beautiful ministries that so many people helped by your sharing of your resources. I gave what I could, but couldn't do enough. I didn't feel like, but I thought, well, I could do my part to help make sure we fill this with love every time we're here and work at my preaching and my annoying sense of humor or whatever. And then sometimes it's the big things, the death of a loved one. And it seems like, how could I ever be okay again? But over time and with the grace of God, we find our way to a new good. Or the ending of any relationship. He doesn't want to date you anymore. Or the friendship ends and it seems like such a long wait before love comes. But love comes. And often in surprising ways. And the old way of praying doesn't work anymore. Communication seems to have broken down into other relationships. The promise is there's always another way. Maybe I find a new way to be present to God. A new way to be present to those I love. My brothers and sisters, make no mistake about it. The obstacles come. The roadblocks will be there. We'll face detours. But the promise, as we saw with Highway 40, there are other ways to get there. And the promise of this holy season is for us, there's always another way to get home, to life, to love. John the Baptist pointed towards Jesus today. The prophet Isaiah promised that when he comes, he would bring glad tidings to the poor. He would bring healing to the brokenhearted. He would proclaim liberty to captives and release to prisoners, to announce a year of favor from those heavily burdened. My brothers and sisters, there is always another way to get there. And you might feel trapped. You're not. That's the promise. And this weekend, after 11 and a half months of closure, the blocked portion of Highway 40 will be open. Be a party today, if weather permitting, I suppose, to enjoy that. And then the next part gets shut down. And for some, that will be an even bigger challenge than the first part was. And how will we cope with that? Well, here's what I hope. Anytime any of us get stuck in a detour because of that, or anywhere, every time we turn that different route than we're used to going, we let it be like an act of hope for us. Not just an annoyance, which it might be, or a delay, but a reminder that there are other ways to get there. And when I'm turning down this road I'm unfamiliar with, looking at my watch thinking, man, to remind myself that there are other ways in life. And I don't know what roadblocks, what obstacles, or what detours we'll face in us and around us and among us. But the great promise is there's always another way home. There's always another way to life and love. Well, hello, buddy. How are you? Not great. What's the matter? I'm lost. You're lost? All right. Well, Big Al, you know what? Okay, show everybody the sign you're looking at. One way, yeah. Stuck. You feel like you're stuck. Ah, well, Big Al, would you mind it if I worked on your sign a little bit? Okay. I'm going to add a few things. I think I'll put this, and then I'll put that. Then I'll put this. And now I'll show it to everybody, okay? Good. What do you think of that, Big Al? You're crazy. I'm crazy. Oh, Big Al, you see, sometimes we feel like we're stuck and there's only one way. But what we forget is that God has many ways for us. Oh, yeah. Now, Big Al, on the highway, please be careful. If the sign says go one way, go that way. But don't stop there. And don't think that you're ever stuck, Big Al, because there's always a new way to go home. Cool. Go Blues. Yeah. Boys and girls, of course, sometimes in life, you feel like you're stuck. Like there's only one way you could possibly go. But wherever we are, Jesus is there. And he'll say, there's another way. You don't ever have to feel trapped. Oh, life will be hard sometimes. But there's always a way back home.